Hello and welcome to Excel English with VKJ. Today we will be doing a poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. Let us have a brief idea about the poet Sir Stephen Harold Spender. Sir Stephen Harold Spender was born on the 28th of February 1909. He breathed his last on the 16th of July 1995 at the age of 86. Stephen Spender was an English poet, a novelist, and an essayist who concentrated on themes of social injustice and the class struggle in his work. Some of his well known works are Poems of Dedication, The Edge of Being, The Creative Element, The Struggle of the Modern, and The World Within World. Now, let me tell you a little about the poem. The main theme of this poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, is to highlight the plight of the underprivileged children who are the so called beneficiaries of government funded education. Although the poem is a sharp commentary on the striking gulf between the classes of society, it ends on an optimistic note, with the belief that there still exist people in the society who will rise to the cause of the less fortunate in our societies. Now let us recite the first stanza of the poem. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At the back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of a squirrel's game in tree room, other than this. In the first stanza, the poet presents a pathetic and miserable picture of the elementary classroom in a slum. These children have pale and lifeless faces, and some are even diseased. They are like rootless weeds, which are uncared and unwanted with their dishevelled hair around their faces. They are depressed and oppressed with the burdens of life, and so keep their heads down. One of the girls is apparently burdened with the miseries of poverty. One of the boys has inherited his father's disease and has stunted growth. Another student is sitting unnoticed and he is yearning to play outdoors. A sweet young boy is sitting at the back of the dim classroom. He is dreaming of a squirrel's game in the trees and probably other interesting games. Stanza 2. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless as at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, belled, flowery, Tyrolese valley, open handed map awarding the world its world. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, were all their futures painted with a fog, a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes, and stars of words. In the second stanza, the poet describes about the classroom. The walls are dirty and creamy, and on them are hung the donations given to the school in the form of pictures, paintings, Shakespeare's portrait, and maps, which are meaningless for these children. They exhibit the world of the elite and the privileged, while these children in the slum have a future that is sealed and confined to the slum. Their future is dark and limited. The donations on the wall only add to the frustrations of the children. They are tempted to attain what would be unattainable for them. The children studying in these schools do not have the means to go and explore the world. For them, what they see through their classroom windows, the narrow street, and the lead sky, is their world. Stanza 3. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes from fog to endless night? On their slag heap these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel with mended glass, like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum, so blot their maps with slums as big as doom. In the third stanza, Stephen Spender goes on to say that Shakespeare is wicked for them, as he has written only about the rich and the beautiful world, tempting them to steal. The map is of no interest to them because it does not reflect the world they live in, cramped and dark lanes. Their lives start in darkness and end in utter darkness. They are malnourished and their poverty has distorted their vision as they spend their whole time in foggy slums. The poet feels that the map which shows beautiful and exotic places should be replaced with slums. It does not relate to the world they live in. Stanza 4. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs break, oh, break open till they break the town, and show the children to green fields, and make their world run azure in gold sands. And let their tongues run naked into books, the white and green leaves open. History theirs, whose language is the sun. Last stanza, the poet calls upon the people representing power and position to review the system before it is too late. He entreats the governor, the inspector, and the visitors who play a vital role in bringing about a change in their lives. The slum children will be able to peep through the window only when the gap between the two worlds is bridged. The revised system should empower these children to break away from the shackles of poverty and deprivation. The barriers need to be broken down for them to come out of the dirty surroundings. Their world should be extended into the green fields, golden sands, and the bright world. They should have the freedom of expression and a broadened outlook. Thus, the children in the slum can progress only if they are given good education and the freedom to move into a world of opportunities and progress. The poet also states that history is made only by those people who have the power of knowledge. Hence, educating and letting the children into a free world of opportunities would release them from the suffocating, wretched life in a slum. So, children, by now you must have understood the central idea of the poem. In this poem, the poet focuses on the theme of social injustice and inequalities. He presents the pathetic and miserable picture of the elementary classroom in a slum. They are depressed and oppressed with the burdens of life and keep their heads down. The children studying in these schools do not have the means to go out and explore the world. For them, what they see through their classroom windows, the narrow street and the lead sky, is their only world. Their lives start in darkness and end in utter darkness. They are undernourished and their poverty has distorted their vision as they spend their whole time in foggy slums. The slum children, who will be able to peep through the window only when the gap between the two worlds is bridged. The barriers need to be broken till they come out of the dirty surroundings. Their world should be extended into the green fields, golden sands, and bright world. They should have the freedom of expression, and their outlook needs to be broadened. For this, the poet appeals to the people who represent power and position in the system. The poet Stephen Spender has used several literary devices to convey his message in a better way. So, children, let us go through the poetic devices used in the poem. First, we talk about the similes. The first simile, like rootless weeds. The coarse, untidy, and unkempt hair of the slum children is similarized to rootless weeds to bring forth the idea that the children were malnourished and uncared for. Like bottle bits on stones. The shining mended glasses of the spectacles is contrasted against the dark complexion of the malnourished slum children. The metal framed broken glasses of the spectacles of the slum children is compared to the shining bottle bits on stones. In the other perspective, the slum children settled on the waste heap is similar to the splinters and pieces of broken bottle glass against stones. Like the broken glasses of the spectacles, The hopes, aspirations, ambitions, and lives of these slum children are completely shattered. The next simile is like catacombs. The slum children are living in dark and dingy rooms which are similar to catacombs in subterranean cemeteries. The windows of these rooms look like the lids of the catacombs. The future of the slum children is shut forever, like the dead bodies in the catacombs. Now, catacomb means an underground cemetery with galleries for tombs. The next simile, slum as big as doom. The slum is similar to the hell of death. Living in a slum is worse than death. Rather, it is a living hell. The next set of poetic devices are the metaphors in the poem. The first metaphor, rat's eyes. This suggests the boy's curious, anxious, and insecure nature. A rat is always insecure, on the move, searching for food and safety. This small boy, too, shares the same condition of a rat. Father's gnarled disease. The boy's father is handicapped with a crooked body. The boy has inherited his father's disease, and the malnourished body of the paper seeming boy is no better than the crooked, disease stricken body of his father. Squirrel's game. Just like the squirrel enjoys its freedom playing freely everywhere in nature, the boy also wants to play and enjoy his life with his endless curiosity. But he is forced to be in the dark, dull, and dreary classroom of the slum school. Tree room. The hiding place of a squirrel, a hollow in a tree, which is full of great comfort, security, curiosity, and fun, is contrasted with the gloomy and dull classroom of the little boy. Some more metaphors. Future painted with fog. Just as the fog blocks, blurs, or ruins our vision, the slum children's future is vague and blurred with hopelessness, frustrations, and lack of empathy and upliftment. Lead sky. The normal bright and blue sky is described as lead sky here, suggesting the dark and dull sky just as the base metal lead is. The sky is not blue and bright like the lives of the slum children. Spectacles of steel. The poverty stricken, skinny, and skeletal bodies of the slum children look like wiry framework of steel, just like that of a pair of spectacles. The expression also suggests the view of the mass of students visually impaired wearing low cost and unhealthy spectacles with metal frames. These poor children are deprived of everything due to the callous attitude of the government. There's a very striking line in this poem, history theirs whose language is the sun. History belongs to those who speak the language of the sun, meaning power, energy, caliber, radiance, and strength. Only if one outshines others can he make a mark in history. One has to outshine and glow like the sun. People who create history have the courage and conviction to break free from the constraints of life. They do things differently and create history with grit and determination. Thanks for watching. This is Mrs. V.K. Jayashree from BNR Excellence Academy. If you like my video, kindly like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel Excel English with VKJ.